Captain Jun Kim stood tall on the bridge of the Earth exploration vessel Horizon, his dark eyes fixed on the massive space station ahead. After 5 years of travel, humans had finally reached the heart of galactic civilization. "Captain, they're sending docking instructions," said Officer Mina at the communication station. Jun nodded. "Follow their path exactly. We can't make mistakes today." The Horizon glided toward the gleaming station. Its silver arms reached out like a giant metal flower in space. Ships of all shapes moved around it. Some looked like smooth eggs. Others resembled pointed stars or long tubes. Earth's best ship looked simple next to them. "Nervous?" asked Hannah Park, standing beside him. As Earth's top diplomat, she wore her formal blue uniform with gold trim. "A little," Joan admitted. "Humanity has dreamed of this moment for centuries." The ship docked with a soft bump. Hannah straightened her jacket. "Remembered," she said. "We represent all of Earth today." They walked down the ship's main hall to the airlock. 10 crew members lined up in perfect order, faces serious. This was humanity's first official meeting with the Galactic Council. "Good luck," said Engineer Duyan. "Show them what humans can do." The airlock opened with a hiss. 3 aliens waited on the other side. The tallest had blue skin and 4 arms. The second looked like a walking plant with glowing spots. The third was short with gray skin and huge black eyes. "Follow," said the blue alien in perfect English. Its voice sounded like metal hitting metal. They walked through wide hallways, filled with different aliens. Some floated in the air. Others crawled on many legs. Most stopped to stare at the humans. "The council will see you now," said their guide, stopping at a large door with strange symbols. The room beyond was huge. A half-circle of raised platforms held 20 different aliens. They sat on special chairs made for their different body types. In the center was a tall alien with purple skin that seemed to shimmer in the light. "I am Syleth, head administrator of the Galactic Council," it said. "State your purpose." Hannah stepped forward. "I am Hannah Park, representing Earth and humanity. We come seeking friendship and to join your galactic community." A sound like quiet laughter spread through the room. "You fly a ship powered by simple fusion," said Syleth. "Your world still fights over resources. You have barely visited your own moon." "We are young as a spacefaring species," Jum said, "but we learn quickly." Syleth raised a hand. "We have studied your broadcasts. Your people are violent, divided, and unpredictable. The Council has existed for 10,000 years by carefully choosing its members." Hannah tried again. "We come offering trade, cultural exchange." "Primitive bipeds barely out of their gravity well," interrupted a red alien with a long neck. "They would bring chaos." "The application of Earth to join the Galactic Council is denied," Syleth said loudly. "Furthermore, human vessels are restricted to their home solar system until your species matures. This decision is final." Jun felt his face grow hot. "We traveled 5 years to reach you. And you will travel 5 years to return home," said Syleth. "Our escort ships will ensure you exit Council space immediately." 2 guards appeared at the door. The meeting was over. Back on the Horizon, the bridge was silent as they pulled away from the station. Armed ships followed on both sides. "What now?" asked Mina. Jun looked at Hannah, whose eyes showed anger, not defeat. "We go home," Jun said, "and we prepare. They think we're primitive. They think we're unpredictable." He smiled slightly. "Maybe they're right about the second part." Hannah nodded. "The Council has existed for 10,000 years. Maybe that's the problem. They'd forgotten how to adapt." The Horizon turned toward home, escorted like criminals to the edge of Council space. But as Earth grew closer in their view screens, Jun knew this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. Taiwan Lee sat in his small lab in Seoul, his eyes tired from staring at screens all night. Around him, machines hummed softly. The walls were covered with charts showing strange patterns and alien words. "Still working?" asked Su Jin Kang as she entered with 2 cups of coffee. Taiwan nodded, taking the cup gratefully. "Listen to this." He pressed a button. The room filled with odd clicks and whistles. Alien speech captured by Earth's deep space listening posts. "It's from the Council," he said. "The same ones who sent our ships home 6 months ago." Su Jin sat down. As Earth's leading quantum physicist, she often worked with Taiwan to study alien technology. "What are they saying?" "That's what's interesting." Taiwan pointed to a screen with moving lines representing sound waves. "They keep using this word here. It translates roughly to unpredictable mind pattern. They're talking about us. Humans." "Yes, and they seem worried." Taiwan pulled up more recordings. "I've been tracking their communications since the Horizon returned. The Council didn't just reject us because they think we're primitive." Su Jin leaned closer to the screen. "They're afraid of us. Of something about us." Taiwan played another recording. "This is a conversation between 2 high-ranking Council members. They specifically mention human brain patterns and problem-solving methods." The lab door opened again. Captain Jum Kim walked in, looking more tired than when he had left Earth. The long journey back from Council space had been hard. "You called me here at midnight," Jun said. "This better be good." Taiwan smiled. "The Council is hiding something. They didn't tell you the real reason they rejected Earth." He played the recordings for Jun, who listened carefully. "Can you translate more?" Jun asked. "Working on it." Taiwan pressed more buttons. "Their language is complex, but I'm getting better every day." A new voice came from the speakers, smoother, more official sounding. "That's Galactic," Jum said, recognizing the Council head administrator's voice. Taiwan nodded. "Listen to what he's saying about humans." The translation appeared on screen as the alien spoke. "The human cognitive approach presents unforeseen variables. Their non-linear problem-solving could disrupt established order. Quarantine is the only safe option." Jum's eyes widened. "They're not looking down on us. They're actually scared of how we think." "Exactly," said Su Jin. "The Council species follow strict rules and patterns. They've built a civilization on predictability. Humans are the opposite. We make intuitive leaps. We try crazy ideas. We break rules to solve problems." Taiwan pulled up maps of Council space. "I've detected unusual activity at these points. The Council is facing some kind of crisis, but they're responding with the same tactics they've always used." "While we would try something new," Jun said, understanding. "There's more," Taiwan said. "Listen to this recent transmission. It was sent with high priority to all Council worlds." The translation appeared. "Unknown entities approaching from Sector 7. Standard defenses ineffective. All ships maintain formation protocol." "They're under attack," Jun said quietly. "And their standard approaches aren't working." Su Jin looked at the data scrolling across the screen. "Whatever's attacking them operates on quantum principles similar to theories I've been developing. The Council's science has gone in a completely different direction. They don't understand what they're facing." "But we might," Taiwan said. Jun stood up straighter. "So the people who call us primitive might actually need our help. If we can understand these transmissions better," Taiwan said, "we could learn what this threat is before it reaches us. The Council won't warn Earth. They've already written us off." Jun looked at the star map. "Keep working. Learn everything you can. I need to speak with President Yoon immediately." As Jun left, Taiwan turned back to his screens. More alien voices filled the room. In the strange sounds, he heard something the proud Council couldn't hide. Fear. "The Council has existed for 10,000 years doing things their way," Su Jin said. "Maybe they need some fresh human thinking." Taiwan nodded, already focusing on decoding the next transmission. Earth would be ready, whether the Council wanted their help or not. 3 years had passed since Earth's ships returned home. The planet had not wasted time. New ships were built, new weapons were tested, and all the while, Taiwan Li kept listening to the stars. President Ji Ho-yoon stood at the head of a long table in Seoul. The room was filled with Earth's most important leaders. Military officers, scientists, and government officials from every major nation sat in tense silence. "Show them," President Yoon said to Taiwan. The wall lit up with a star map. A large red area was spreading through what they now knew was Council space. 3 days ago, our deep space sensors detected a massive energy signature at the edge of our solar system, Taiwan explained. It matches the patterns we've been tracking in Council territory. General Dae Sung-choi, head of Earth's Defense Force, stood up. "How long until it reaches Earth?" 6 months, maybe less, Taiwan answered. "We're calling them the Void Harbingers, based on Council transmissions. They consume entire star systems." The room grew even quieter. "Play the message," President Yoon ordered. Taiwan pressed a button. A distress call filled the room. The voice was alien but filled with unmistakable fear. "This is Council World Celaris. We are under attack. Our shields are failing. The void consumes everything. If anyone receives this..." The message cut off. "That was 2 weeks ago," said Taiwan. Celaris was one of the Council's major worlds, population of 8 billion. "And now?" asked someone. "Gone," Su Jin Kang said, stepping forward. "The star system is just empty space now." Screens showed images of a dark cloud moving through space, leaving nothing behind. "The Council is losing," General Choi said. "Their defensive lines are breaking everywhere. They follow the same strategies that worked for thousands of years, but these harbingers adapt quickly." "They should have warned us," said a European leader angrily. "They knew this was coming." "Pride," said Captain Jung Kim, now commander of Earth's new defense fleet. "They still think they can handle this alone." President Yoon looked around the room. "We need to decide what Earth will do. We have 3 options. First, we can try to hide and hope the harbingers pass us by. Second, we can focus only on defending our solar system. Or third," he paused, "we can help the Council." Angry voices filled the room. "Help them. After they called us primitive. They would never have helped us. Let them fight their own war." President Yoon raised his hand for silence. "I understand your anger, but this threat will reach us eventually. If the Council falls, Earth stands alone." Su Jin stepped forward again. "There's something else you should know. I've been studying the energy patterns of these harbingers. They operate on quantum principles that the Council science doesn't understand, but we might." She showed a diagram on the screen. Earth's quantum research took a different path than Council science. We approached problems from angles they never considered. It gives us an advantage. "What kind of advantage?" General Choi asked. "I believe we can develop weapons that could disrupt the harbingers' cohesion. But we would need to test them in actual battle." Captain Jun looked at the spreading red area on the map. "So we would need to enter Council space, the same space they banned us from." "Yes," said President Yoon. "And we need to decide now. Every day we wait, more systems fall." He looked around the room at Earth's leaders. "The Council rejected us, called us primitive, but now they face an enemy they can't beat with their old ways. Sometimes the primitive path is the one that hasn't been tried before." General Choi nodded slowly. "If Su Jin's theories are right, we might be able to stop these harbingers, but we'll need to move fast." "Then let's vote," said President Yoon. "Will Earth hide, defend only itself, or fight?" One by one, hands raised around the table. The decision was made. Earth would fight. General Dae Sung-choi stood before a large screen showing the movement of enemy forces. The war room buzzed with activity as officers rushed between stations. Earth was preparing for war, but not in the way anyone expected. "Traditional formations won't work," General Choi said to the gathered military leaders. "The Council's ships always fight in perfect lines and patterns. The harbingers have learned to predict their moves." He swept his hand across the screen, erasing the neat formations. "We will not fight like the Council." "What do you suggest?" asked Admiral Wu from China. General Choi smiled. Chaos. Controlled chaos. He drew new patterns on the screen. Ships moving in unpredictable ways, breaking apart, rejoining at strange angles. The Harbingers can't predict what they don't understand. We'll use small, fast attack groups. Hit and run. Never stay in one place. Never form a pattern they can learn. The Council would call this strategy insane, said a French commander. Good, replied General Choi. The Harbingers have never faced human insanity before. Across the city, engineer Yunji Ri was working in a different kind of war room. Her laboratory was filled with strange machines and glowing energy fields. Su Jin Kang stood beside her, checking measurements on a tablet. Will it work? Asked Captain Jun Kim, watching from the doorway. Yunji adjusted something inside a small device on the table. It hummed softly. In theory, yes, she said. The Harbingers exist partially in quantum space. That's why Council weapons pass right through them sometimes. Their weapons are too predictable. She held up the device. It was small enough to fit in her hand, but it glowed with strange blue light. This quantum disruptor works differently. It doesn't follow normal patterns. It creates noise in quantum space. The Harbingers won't know how to defend against it. How many can you make? Jun asked. Yunji and Su Jin exchanged looks. That's the problem. Su Jin said, we can make about 50 right now. We need hundreds, maybe thousands. And we need someone to use them, Yunji added. The disruptors have to be placed directly inside the Harbinger swarms. It's dangerous work. Jun nodded. I'll find the pilots. How long until they're ready? 2 weeks, said Yunji. Maybe less if we work around the clock. You have 1 week, Jun said. The latest reports show the Harbingers have destroyed 3 more Council worlds. They're moving faster now. In another building, President Yoon met with Earth's top scientists and engineers. Models of new ships filled the room. Our fleet isn't as advanced as the Council's, said a Russian engineer. But we've made them faster, more maneuverable. And the weapons? Asked President Yoon. A woman stepped forward with a hologram of a small fighter ship. We've designed them to carry Yunji's quantum disruptors. They're small enough to fly between the Harbinger swarm units. The Council would never try this. Their ships are too big, too valuable. How many ships can we build in time? Asked the President. 300 fighters. Maybe 20 larger ships to carry them into battle. President Yoon looked at the small fleet model. It seemed tiny compared to the thousands of ships the Council had already lost. It will have to be enough, he said. Back in the military headquarters, General Choi was addressing a room full of pilots. This mission is volunteer only, he said. Flying into the Harbinger swarms to place disruptors will be extremely dangerous. Many of you won't come back. A young pilot raised her hand. When do we leave? General Choi looked surprised. I haven't even explained the full mission yet. She smiled. You said we're doing something the mighty Council is too scared to try. Something that might save billions of lives. That's all we need to know. One by one, every pilot in the room stood up. General Choi looked at them with pride. Then we begin training immediately. In 1 week, we show the galaxy what humans can do. Captain Jun Kim stood on the bridge of Earth's flagship Defiance. The massive ship led a fleet of 20 larger vessels and 300 small fighters. They had traveled for 2 weeks at maximum speed, heading toward the heart of the conflict. We're approaching Centauri Prime, said Officer Mina. It's a major Council world under attack. The main screen showed a beautiful blue planet. Around it, hundreds of Council ships formed perfect defensive lines. Beyond them, a dark cloud moved slowly closer. The Void Harbingers. Open a channel to the Council fleet, Jun ordered. A moment later, an alien face appeared on screen. It had gray-blue skin and large eyes that widened at the sight of humans. This is Commander Zephyx of the Council Defense Force, the alien said. Human vessels are forbidden in Council space. Leave immediately. June stepped forward. This is Captain Jung Kim of the Earth Defense Fleet. We've come to help fight the Harbingers. Help. Zefix's voice sounded both surprised and insulted. The Council needs no help from primitive species. Your presence disrupts our defense protocols. On the screen behind Zefix, Jum could see the battle. The Council ships maintained perfect formations, firing in synchronized patterns. But the Harbingers, dark shapes that seemed to bend light around them, simply shifted and continued forward. Your defense protocols aren't working, Jum said calmly. The Harbingers have adapted to your tactics. Impossible, said Zefix. These formations have succeeded for thousands of years. We simply need more ships. Mina leaned closer to June. Sensors show the Council has already lost 30% of their fleet. Their weapons barely slow the Harbingers down. June nodded. Commander Zefix, we have weapons that may be effective against the Harbingers, but we need to deploy them our way. If you wish to assist, you will place your ships under Council command, Zefix said firmly. All vessels must follow standard battle protocols. June looked at his crew. They had come too far to turn back. Billions of lives were at stake. I'm afraid that won't be possible, he said. Earth ships will follow Earth strategies. Zefix's face darkened. This is outrageous. Protocol demands. With respect, Commander, June interrupted. Your protocols are failing. We're going to try something different. He signaled to cut the transmission. They're sending warnings to all their ships about us, Mina reported. They're calling us dangerous and unpredictable. June smiled slightly. Good. That's exactly what the Harbingers will think too. He pressed a button on his chair. All Earth vessels, this is Captain Kim. Implement Operation Chaos. Fighter groups, prepare to launch. Remember your training and stay unpredictable. The human fleet suddenly broke apart. The larger ships moved in seemingly random directions. From their hangars, hundreds of small fighters shot out like angry bees. On the Council command ship, Zefix watched in horror. What are they doing? He demanded. Their formation makes no sense. His second-in-command studied the screens. They're not maintaining any formation at all. Each ship is moving independently. It's madness. Stop them, Zefix ordered. They'll disrupt our entire defense plan. But it was too late. The human fighters darted between the larger Council ships, heading straight for the Harbinger swarm. Back on the Defiance, Jun watched the small dots on his screen as they approached the enemy. First wave of fighters is in position, reported Mina. They're entering the Harbinger cloud now. Tell them to deploy disruptors on my mark, Jun said. He looked at the Council ships, still maintaining their perfect, useless formations. The Council has forgotten how to adapt, he said quietly. 10,000 years of doing things one way. Captain, said an officer urgently. Commander Zefix is demanding we recall our fighters. He says we're violating 17 different Council battle regulations. June's eyes never left the screen. Tell the commander we apologize for the inconvenience, and suggest he watch carefully what happens next. He took a deep breath. All fighters, deploy disruptors. Now. Across the battlefield, 300 human pilots flew into the darkness, carrying humanity's best hope. The space around Proxima Centauri filled with light as hundreds of fighters flew into the dark cloud of Harbingers. From the safety of the larger ships, Council aliens watched in shock. They're flying directly into the swarm, said Commander Zefix. It's suicide. On the Defiance, Captain Jung Kim watched the small dots on his screen with a tight feeling in his chest. Each dot was a brave pilot carrying one of Eunju's quantum disruptors. First wave has entered the Harbinger formation, reported Mina. Disruptors activating now. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, suddenly, bright blue flashes appeared throughout the dark cloud. Where the light touched, the darkness broke apart. It's working, shouted an officer. June leaned forward. Tell the second wave to target the areas that are breaking up. Focus the disruptors there. More fighters dove into the cloud, weaving between the dark shapes. Unlike the Council ships with their straight lines and perfect formations, the human fighters flew in unpredictable patterns. They spun, twisted, and changed direction without warning. The Harbingers can't track them, Mina said, amazed. They expect patterns, but our pilots aren't using any. On his command ship, Zephyx couldn't believe what he was seeing. The Harbingers that had destroyed hundreds of Council vessels were now breaking apart. Impossible, he whispered. Their tactics violate every rule of space combat. His second-in-command studied the screens. Sir, the human disruption weapons are creating weaknesses in the Harbinger formation. If we target those spots, that would mean abandoning our defense pattern, Zephyx said, horrified. Sir, with respect, their approach is working. Ours is not. Zephyx watched another Harbinger unit dissolve under the human attack. He made a decision that went against 10,000 years of Council tradition. Break formation, he ordered. All ships target the disruption points created by the human weapons. For the first time in history, Council ships abandoned their perfect lines. They moved to support the human fighters, focusing fire on the weakened areas of the Harbinger swarm. Back on the Defiance, Jun noticed the change. The Council ships are adapting, he said with surprise. They're following our lead. Captain, Mina called out. We've lost 17 fighters. The pilots knew the risks, but each one is a hero, Jun said quietly, and they're making a difference. More quantum disruptors activated deep in the swarm. The blue light spread further, breaking the Harbingers into smaller and smaller pieces. The combined fire from human and Council ships finished the job, turning the broken pieces to dust. After 3 hours of intense fighting, Mina looked up from her screen with wide eyes. Captain, the Harbinger swarm is retreating. They're pulling back from the planet. A cheer went up across the bridge. Jun remained focused. Order all remaining fighters to return to the ships, he said. How many did we lose? 27 fighters, Captain, Mina said softly. 27 brave pilots. Jun nodded solemnly. Make sure their names are recorded. They saved billions of lives today. The main screen lit up with an incoming transmission. Commander Zephyx appeared, looking both grateful and confused. Captain Kim, he said formally. Your tactics were unorthodox, but effective. The Council owes you a debt. We all fought together in the end, Jun replied. That's what matters. What happens now? Zephyx asked. Will you stay to help defend other worlds? Jun shook his head. We came to prove a point. To show what humans can do. The Council must decide what happens next. After the transmission ended, Jun gave the order to prepare for the journey home. As the Earth ships moved away from Proxima Centauri, they received thousands of messages from the planet below. Not from the Council, but from ordinary aliens whose lives had been saved. Messages of thanks, messages of respect, messages that would change the galaxy forever. The primitive humans had done what the mighty Council could not, and the Council would never be the same again. The Grand Council chamber was filled with angry voices. Representatives from 50 alien species argued loudly. On the main screen, images of the battle at Proxima Centauri played over and over. Order, we must have order, shouted a tall alien in golden robes, but no one listened. The doors at the back of the chamber opened. Head Administrator Xylith entered, looking tired and worried. The room slowly grew quiet. The reports are confirmed, Xylith said. The Harbinger fleet at Proxima Centauri has been defeated. It is their first major loss. Excited whispers filled the room. And the humans? Asked a plant-like being. The reports about their involvement are true. Xylith's skin darkened with emotion. Yes, human ships arrived without permission and engaged the enemy using unusual tactics. The screen showed footage of small human fighters darting between Harbinger units, placing glowing devices that made the dark shapes break apart. Their weapons worked when ours failed, said a blue-skinned council member. How is this possible? A new voice spoke up. Because they think differently than we do. All heads turned to Counselor Nilara, one of the oldest members. Her silver skin reflected the light as she stood. For 10,000 years, we have followed the same patterns, she said. The same formations, the same weapons, the same thinking. The Harbingers learned our patterns and adapted. She pointed at the screen where human ships moved in seemingly random ways. The humans have no patterns. They are unpredictable. That is why we rejected them from the council. And that is why they succeeded where we failed. Angry shouts filled the room again. Are you suggesting we needed their help? Demanded a red-scaled alien. Primitive beings barely out of their gravity well. I am suggesting, Nilara said calmly, that our survival matters more than our pride. Silith raised a hand for silence. The humans used. President Jeho-Yun sat at the head of a long table in Seoul. Around him, Earth's leaders watched as the council message played again. The Galactic Council formally requests Earth's assistance in the conflict against the entities known as Void Harbingers. Your ships and weapons have proven effective. The Council is prepared to grant temporary access to Council space for this purpose. The message ended. No apology. No admission that they had been wrong to reject Earth. Temporary access, General Choi said with a short laugh. How generous of them. They're desperate, said Hana Park, who had been part of the first contact team years ago. But still too proud to admit it. President Yoon stood up slowly. The question is, what will Earth do now? The Harbingers remain a threat to everyone, including us. Taiwan Lee, who had first decoded the Council transmissions, looked at his tablet. We've intercepted more Council communications. The Harbingers have destroyed 3 more worlds since Proxima Centauri. Billions dead, and our weapons work against them. Su Jin said. Yunji has improved the quantum disruptors. They're twice as powerful now. President Yoon nodded. So we help, but on our terms, not theirs. The next day, a large council ship arrived in Earth orbit. 3 alien representatives were escorted to the United Nations building in New York. The main hall was filled with people from every nation. The lead alien, silver-skinned Counselor Nilara, stepped forward. Earth, the Council thanks you for receiving us. Time is short. The Harbingers attack more worlds each day. We must arrange for your ships to join our defense forces immediately. President Yoon walked to the center of the room. Counselor Nilara, Earth is willing to join the fight against the Harbingers. But not as your subordinates, not with temporary access to space that should be open to all. Nilara's skin darkened with emotion. What are you suggesting? Equal partnership, Yoon said firmly. Earth will commit our full resources to this war, but only as equals. He held up a tablet showing a document. These are our terms. First, Earth demands permanent, unrestricted travel rights throughout Council space. Second, we require access to Council technology and scientific knowledge. Third, Earth must have a permanent seat on the Council with full voting rights. The alien representatives looked shocked. This is unprecedented, said one. No species has ever joined the Council without centuries of evaluation. No species has ever saved the Council from destruction before, replied General Choi, standing beside the President. Nilara's voice was cold. You would use our crisis to force these demands. Not demands, said President Yoon. Requirements for partnership. 3 years ago, you rejected us as primitive and dangerous. Now you need our primitive, dangerous thinking to survive. He looked around the room at Earth's united leaders. We will fight with you, share our technology with you, and stand with you against the Harbingers. But as equals, not as second-class species. Nilara conferred quietly with the other aliens. The hall waited in tense silence. Finally, she turned back. The Council accepts your terms. In light of the emergency, Earth will be granted membership status and all associated rights. President Yoon nodded. Then let's get to work. We'll need to integrate our quantum disruptors with your larger ships. Our engineers have designs ready. Your ships will follow Council command structure, of course, one alien said quickly. Captain Jum Kim stepped forward. Actually, no. Our ships work best with our tactics. Your ships can learn from us, or fight separately. The aliens looked uncomfortable, but Nilara raised a hand. We will adapt. As you have shown, adaptation may be necessary for survival. As the meeting continued, Yun Ji-ri leaned toward Su Jin. Do you think they'll really change? 10,000 years of doing things one way is hard to overcome. Su Jin smiled. They don't have much choice now. Besides, humans are good teachers. We've been adapting our whole history. Within days, Earth ships were being loaded with improved quantum disruptors. Council engineers worked alongside humans, studying the strange weapons with a mix of confusion and respect. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was leading the way.